super hot out today. Y'all know I normally like to be outside to chat, but yeah, it's officially summer. It is hot outside, so I would prefer the coolness right now. I was out there earlier today, and sometimes I don't realize how hot it is until I actually like come in the house with the AC on, and I'm like, let me sit down for a few minutes. So I'm gonna give everybody a chance to get on YouTube and Instagram, and we're gonna go ahead and get started today with our summer gardening tips, because y'all know when I say summer gardening tips, I'm talking to myself as well. When I get ready to talk to y'all about these tips today, I'm talking to myself too. Sometimes I have to give myself a little bit of talking to um, in the summer garden. So hello everyone. Hello, hello, hello. This week was pollinator week, so we always love to plant plants that bring in the pollinators. So make sure that you go back and watch some of our videos. They're both on YouTube, and they're actually on the feed on our Instagram, where we talked about different plants that you can put in your garden to attract the pollinators. So we won't go over all of that today, but I have been seeing lots of beneficial pollinators in the garden as well as pests, but it's always definitely good to see the pollinators. That way I know that they are doing some work on our plants, because I was so excited. We harvested so many cucumbers the other day, so I've been making pickles. I put some in the refrigerator, and I gave some away. So it's been really, really good. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Happy Friday to my YouTube and my Instagram family. So we'll go ahead and get the housekeeping out the way as more people are coming in. So y'all know to just make sure you like and share this video. If you know someone who's been thinking about gardening, want to get into gardening, share this with them. Also tell them about our free ebook, The 5 Tips to a Flourishing Garden. This is what I call like the boot camp to gardening. It's going to get you prepped for what you need to do to get your garden started, so that along the way you don't find out later on. These are like those basic training tips to get started and get started out on the right track. So make sure that you download that ebook. I always put it in the description on YouTube, and it's in my bio on Instagram. So make sure you get that. Also, if you want to be notified when we're going live, text the word Let's Grow, LETSGROW, to 474747. Text the word Let's Grow to 474747, and you'll get a text when we go live. You'll also get a text when we have specials and different deals and things like that. And also make sure you get on our email list as well. So y'all know I always say I'm going to try to keep it short. I really am going to try to keep it short today. But I just wanted to go over some summer gardening tips, because believe it or not, y'all, hello, how are you? From Dallas, Texas. How is the weather? How is the weather there for you? But believe it or not, like, I'm still busy in the garden, but I kind of slow down a little bit as far as my planting goes. So the one thing I wanted to tell y'all is, even though I'm not planting as much in the heat of the summer, if I do find a deal, okay, if I find a deal, I will go ahead and pick it up. And I have picked up, I think maybe like one plant this week, maybe one. But if you find a deal and you have to plant it, because I try not to plant as much in the summer, just because of the heat and the shock and everything. But if you do have to plant things, or you do find a good deal, one of the things you should do, especially if you're in a hot climate like I am, I think if you're in a cooler climate, it'll be okay, because we still have a lot of our gardening friends that's further up north that has some beautiful, great weather, y'all. They have some great weather. But when I do plant, like a plant that I buy at the garden center, I'll make sure that I wet my soil like really, really, really good before I even put the plant in. So I'll make sure everything is nice and saturated, and then I will go ahead and I'll plant my plant. And what I'll do over the next few days is I will continue to check on it. Make sure that that you keep it moist. Don't let it dry out. Because sometimes in the heat of the summer, things can like dry out. They can go into shock, stuff like that. So that is one thing that I will definitely do, because there are some good deals that you can sometimes find, because I know for us here, it's really hard to stay on top of watering. And like I tell a lot of people, the smaller the container, the more you're going to have to water it. So I know I used to talk stuff a lot of times about the employees at the garden center, but it's especially if you have the mass amount like they do, sometimes it is hard to, kind of keep up with that watering like that. So that's why if you're going to plant something in the ground, and even like in a container, just make sure you moisten your soil real good. The first few days, make sure you check on it, make sure it stays moist. And then y'all know I'm a big advocate of mulch. Make sure you put some type of mulch on there so that the plant roots and everything can stay cool, especially during the heat of that summer like that. You may even want to do things like provide shade for the plant as well, because I know for us here, I was talking to someone the other day about it, where they were saying the plant was full sun, and I get it. But sometimes, depending on where you're at, like full sun also needs a little bit of afternoon shade. So a lot of our plants, it's okay if they get a little bit of shade, because the sun really has been beating down so hard over like in the summer, like during the day. So a lot of times when it says full sun, it'll be okay sometimes, just depending on where you're at with afternoon shade. So just kind of remember that. And then if you do like succession planting, or if you're thinking about starting another round of like the vegetables, make sure you calculate your dates to maturity, so you'll have enough time, depending on the zone. So you'll have enough time to go ahead and get started. A lot of our things will do a second round of planting. Like I'm going to do a second round of planting of my cucumbers. So I want to make sure that I have, enough time to our first fall frost. You want to make sure that you think about that when you're succession planting, just making sure you have enough time to do that second round, and watch those dates too, because although it's summer, as we get into late summer, our days are going to start to get a little bit shorter now. So you have to keep all of that into consideration. And another thing that I do is, no matter what, I always like to do a little buffer and do like 1 to 2 weeks. Like when I'm planning to start second rounds of things, I always want to give it a week or two, because we never really know what the weather is going to do. Our frost last year, it was really late, like it was almost December, our first frost, but there have been some times where it's been like late October. So keep all of that in mind, like as you're planning out what you want to do. And like I said, especially if you're in a hotter zone, because we're in zone 8B, and just make sure you give yourself enough time. And then the main thing also is, I'm out there like every morning, y'all, seeing what needs to be harvested. So if I'll go out there with my harvest basket, I'll pick me some tomatoes. I stay on top of cutting our cucumbers. So stay on top of harvesting. Stay on top of deadheading. We talked about that too. You can find it in some previous videos. Stay on top of deadheading as well, so that you can tell those plants, stop using energy on the deadheads and go ahead and keep kicking out. A lot of times for my annuals, like my petunias and the super petunias, what I'll do next week is like the first week in July. I was gonna say probably like the first or second week in July. Like I'll go out there and trim them, because a lot of the annuals can get really leggy. So I'll go out there and trim them. I'll go and feed them so that they can keep flowering, and go ahead so that they can finish up that summer season with the bang. So a lot of my annuals, is when I do a lot of trimming, especially with the trailing plants. I'll do trimming, I'll feed them again. Also, a lot of times, depending on what plants it is, I may put a little slow release fertilizer in the soil as well. So I just wanted to, like, it's summertime. I'm still outside doing a lot of things, but I still have to keep a lot of things in the back of my mind. And so I just wanted to share that with you all. I'm going to go through the comments really quick. I saw them popping up. So y'all make sure if you have any questions to put them in the comments. On Tuesday, we're expecting a feel of 110. I'm scared for my garden that's in the sun. Feathered Sun says, don't be scared. That is pretty, yeah. I definitely feel you on that one. I will tell you that I have lost probably like a couple of my tomato plants already. And that's what I'm talking about. Like, what I'm going to do is like a second sowing of tomatoes, because for us, I know a lot of people, that's one of those plants too, that full sun, they love heat. But tomatoes, when it gets a certain degree for a long period, so you may have like a few days and it's okay, but for a long period, like, they'll slow down tremendously. A lot of them just can't take it. I've lost 2 tomato plants. And I'll tell y'all what I did this weekend is I actually, and I may have shared this, I actually went to the garden center and got a plant specifically. It was a tomato plant. I want to see how it does, specifically for heat and humidity, because I know that every year I lose some of my tomato plants because it's just so hot for them. It is extremely, extremely hot. So 110, yeah. I also invest in shade cloths. Now, sometimes it's just up there. Sometimes it's just up there and it's just like, here you go. You got some shade, and I'll do it that way. It's kind of hard for some of our raised beds because I have like the tomato cages. Then I have things that are down low, but I just like find something to prop it up with because it's just going to be temporarily, just so I can at least provide it some type of shade during like the heat of the summer like this. They will really appreciate you for that. Hello, Yankee sister. How are you? Our heat wave will start tomorrow. A lot of the 90s. Oh, wow. Okay, so y'all are getting pumped up for the heat as well. Today was weeding, deadheading, and trimming. Okay, I'm glad you did take a break. And that's good that you got a hold of all of your garden chores before those 90s hit in. I think that's what messes me up a lot of times is I know it's hot outside and I'm like, let me just go out here real quick and do this. Let me just go real quick and do it. And I do it and I come back and I'm just like, I gotta sit down for a minute. Hello, Veggie Farm. I need to do another set of tomatoes. I had to retire 2 of them. Exactly, Angela. Like, that's why I do a second sowing of my tomatoes, because I know every single year I'm gonna lose a few because it's just too hot. And that's why it's always good to try to get those varieties that are suited, because you're in a hot zone like me as well, that are suited for the heat and the humidity. So I feel you on that one. But the thing is, and that's what I tell people, like, our tomatoes, they really do so good in like October. I still had tomatoes in November because the weather is cooler. It's not that hot and it just does so much better. But I try to get my first set in, like I'll start them inside as soon as the danger of frost has passed for us. So maybe like late March, I'll get that first set in, let that start growing. I mean, we still have some tomatoes and we actually have some varieties that are really like outperforming. I'm really happy with them. We did have a couple of pest issues. I have to go out there later on today. But I'm staying on top of it, and that's what it's about. So yeah, we do 2 sets too. Hello, Betty. I've lost a few of mine too. Okay, yeah, so I'm telling you, anything like 90, 95, unless it was bred for the heat and humidity for us in the higher zones, then you will. And it's okay. It's nothing that we did wrong, nothing. I think a lot of people, it's a tomato that I saw, I think it's called Everglades, that it was made by someone like in Florida for the heat and humidity. Actually, the tomatoes that were growing by proven winners is called Good Hearted. They actually, like I showed a picture on Instagram, and they were actually saying they hope it did well for me because the person, that different variety, it was, I think, from the University of Florida. Don't quote me, but it was like a Florida person who actually came up with that to withstand the heat and the humidity. Hello, Urban Girl Gardening. How are you? I still have about 12 tomato plants waiting to be planted. Well, it seems like now is a good time because that heat is coming. Now, Yankee Sister, let me know. Do y'all have a lot of humidity as well with the heat? Hello, Big Mama's Garden. Do you plant ground cherries? I have not. I keep seeing them. I have not tried ground cherries before. I'm in zone B, but mine are not yellowing. They fall to the ground, but are still yellowish green. So if anybody on here in zone 8B has experience with ground cherries, that's one of the things I keep seeing, y'all. I keep seeing them. I'm like, I do want to try those, but I haven't. Hello, Thomas. Yes, I have some Everglades, but they haven't started. Okay, so you have to let us know, Angela, how the Everglades do for you, as far as the heat and the humidity in the garden. Too many seedlings. Don't feel bad, Yankee Sister. I'm telling you, I still have plants that are in cups that are ready to go out. But I will share with y'all, I always try to plant when I start from seeds. Now, when I start from seed, I always try to plant more than what I think I need because it is sometimes where I have to pull plants. And so then I have like an empty area. If they start growing good and I absolutely do not need them, then I'll give them away, or I'll put them on like Facebook Marketplace and sell them like that. I'm guessing my heirlooms from Puerto Rico might do well. I hope so. Yeah, because it's hot. It's hot and it's humid. So they should do very good. What variety of tomato plants work well for you? Okay, so this one I'm trying is Good Hearted. I want to say it's like this one is a cherry. It's like a cherry tomato. Another cherry tomato, I want to say it says something million. It's like a whole bunch of cherry tomatoes on like a vine. It looks so pretty. We have some, is it the purple Cherokee outside? And this one, the new variety that I just got, is for heat and humidity. Now, let me show y'all because this is my last one left and it's like right here. So they have a tomato called Lemon Boy, and that was one of the ones that kicked the bucket on me, the Lemon Boy. But this is my last one. I pulled off all of the tomatoes that were on there and just let them finish ripening inside. I just thought it would be cool to have like a yellow tomato. But what other varieties have we tried in the past that did really well? I know we always do like an heirloom besides oh my gosh. I gotta go back through some of my pictures because I have so many pictures on my phone. Like I take all angles, and I was looking today because I had to respond to something, and I said you gotta delete some of these photos on here. But it's some in the past that has really done well because we gave a lot. It's my husband's friend last year. Like every time he came over, he got like a basket of tomatoes. They were just like pumping out like crazy. But I can't remember the name. I got to go back through my garden journal. Super Sweet 100 Hybrid is doing pretty good. Yeah, that is another one too. The Super Sweet Hybrid cherry tomatoes. I think they come on like a long. Do they come on like a long? They have like a whole, maybe like 10 or 12 tomatoes on one thing. I think so. But yeah, tomatoes it's I used to get frustrated when I first moved down here because like I told y'all, I'm from Georgia, but where I'm from in Columbus, the weather may be about 5 to 7 degrees different, and it's not as humid. It's still humid, but it was not as humid. And then just the different places that we've lived in the world, like this one really pushed me to like learn, push me to the limits as far as learning, especially with this sandy soil too. I just went out today and added a little bit more of like compost and manure to some of the flowers around there because it's very sandy here. Big beef tomatoes. Oh, somebody asked, is it Early Girl? Early Girl, we've done Early Girl and they did good. A big beef tomatoes and little bean. I've seen I think I've done the big beef tomatoes as well. Roma tomatoes, yes, that's another one, are doing really well this year, and so are my patio tomatoes. That is good. I love the Roma tomatoes and the San Marzano. It looks like we love the same type of tomatoes, y'all. Is it red currant tomatoes, the vine ones? I think I've seen those as well too, because let me tell y'all, I ordered a whole bunch of Johnny's had some tomato seeds on sale on sale, I think like last year, you know, when they're trying to get rid of the inventory. And I have planted a whole bunch of tomatoes, and let me tell y'all what happened. And this is when I learned to use chalk paint to mark on my little plant markers and not the permanent marker because they faded off. But I have no idea what some of those tomatoes are. They're just gonna get planted and we'll see. We'll just take pictures and see. And I hate that, but that's when I learned that when you label with the chalk paint on the little plant markers that I have, because I did the permanent marker and they faded away. I could only read what was the part that was down in the soil and I couldn't make it out. Same thing with my basil. The only reason why I could figure out the basil from like the holy basil from the garden basil was because the smell, like the holy basil, you definitely know the smell. So yeah, a chalk paint marker is really good. So I told y'all I wouldn't be on there long. I have about 3 varieties that I have a clue, which is exactly. I'm with you, Feathered Sunsets. I'm just like, I don't know. We'll see when it happens, y'all. We'll see what happens. And if I like it, I'll probably have to journal it and call it like mystery tomatoes. UT 33200. How are you? Let me tell y'all about UT 33200. I love watching them do the tomato testers because they grow so many varieties. And I think it's from their channel that I learned that is it like the black tomato or it's like a real dark purple tomato? Like they grow so many tomatoes and it's just amazing. It really is, just looking at the different varieties. I've seen things like green zebra is amazing. I have Roma, Tiny Tim, I love those. San Marzano, orange heirloom currant tomatoes. The San Marzano and the Roma tomatoes are so good. It's so good to make sauces too as well. So yeah, that's I think that's the spiel on tomatoes. So again, if y'all lose a few, it's okay. Over 95 degrees, some tomatoes, they can't take that heat and humidity. They will slow down. A lot of them will slow down, but yeah, we did lose a few, but that's okay. So we're just going to recap. Those are some of our summer gardening tips. The black creme tomatoes are, yes, they are very beautiful. So beautiful. And that's why I like to grow different type. That's why I was telling y'all about the lemon boy. Like I like to see different colored tomatoes that you just don't find at your local grocery store. And that's why I love the garden too, and try out different varieties that you just don't see, and to like be able to taste it. I love doing that. Like just being able to be different. Brandywine is a good one too. Brandywine is a good one. Y'all, we are growing some amazing varieties, just amazing. So I just want to recap really quick, just these summer gardening tips. Remember to like and share. If you know someone, or if you're thinking about gardening, just make sure you share this. Make sure you download the free ebook. We'll make sure we'll put those in the links for you on YouTube, and they're in the bio on Instagram. But again, like summer gardening, I kind of slow down with planting, and it's basically like just maintaining them over the summer. But if I do find a plant that I love and I just have to have, and it's on sale, or I just love it and I just have to have it, before I plant it, I make sure that I make sure my soil is moist before I even plant it. Make sure it's good and moist and saturated. Over the next few days, make sure you continue to watch it. Don't let it dry out, so that it doesn't become like shocked, just so it can kind of get established. So just make sure you do that. Make sure you also mulch, just to keep those the soil a little bit cool, especially in some of the zones like we're in 8B. You may even need to provide shade as well. It's okay, get your shade cloth. They sell them online. And you may have to do that. And remember that just because, like for us in the hotter zones like 8B, 8A, 9B, like even though it says full sun, it will definitely benefit from like afternoon shade. It's totally okay. It'll be fine. The plant will probably thank you, especially if it's in like hot. If you're going to do a second round of planting, make sure you watch your dates to maturity. Make sure you watch and see when you should plant them, because I seriously cannot believe that July is next week. And believe it or not, y'all, starting mid-July through August, I actually start planting my fall garden. I know it seems crazy, but that's when I start planning, and actually I'll start like getting my seeds together to start the fall again. And I know we're in like middle of the summer and people are like, who's thinking about that? But even if you plant if you want to do a second round of tomatoes, you want to do a second round of beans, a second round of cucumbers, make sure you watch those dates to maturity depending on what zone you're in, so you have enough time for it to grow and for you to be able to harvest and do all of that. So just make sure you watch your dates, and know what zone that you are in. And also, I had to take notes. Give yourself about 1 to 2 weeks, because we never know, like like when you look, your first frost may be one day, but just give yourself about a 1 to 2 week buffer, because we never know what the weather is going to do. And then just make sure you stay on top of like harvesting, deadheading, cutting back. You may have to come in with a little bit of dry organic fertilizer or even liquid fertilizer, and just talk to your plants, play them some music, and say, the summertime is, I know you're hot out here, okay? I know it, but you just get through for me. Thank you so much, Yankee Sister, for the super chat. I always appreciate you, and I appreciate your support. But just make sure, sometimes I talk to my plants. I do. Like, it's one tomato plant, I was like, don't you start it. Don't you start withering up on me like that. And it looks like it's getting itself together. I'm not sure. Beefsteak is a good one too. Yeah, beefsteak is good. I just love mixing like the tomato, the basil. I just clipped some basil today, and the cucumbers, because sometimes it's just so hot here, and you know how you just want something light. You don't want anything like really heavy during the summer. And I'm telling you, these tomatoes, these cucumbers, these basil, it really comes in handy, where it's just good, but it's just light as well. So we definitely want to keep that in. Dehydrate the tomatoes with olive oil, fresh basil, red onion, garlic, salt, pepper, Italian seasoning for 20 hours. Come with it, Thomas. Okay, come. You are talking my language. Oh, that sounds so good. Let me read this to y'all again. Dehydrate the tomatoes with olive oil, fresh basil, red onion, garlic, salt, pepper, Italian seasoning for 20 hours. Now, if that doesn't sound good, I don't know what does. Oh my God, that sounds so good. and our guard friends in the comments says it does. It sounds so good. So I want to, and then remember, let's go back a little bit, because I still, during this summer, I'm going to reiterate this again and again. Stay hydrated, y'all. Stay hydrated in that garden. Make sure you drink lots of water, take breaks, and we're going to get through this summer gardening together. We're going to get through all of this together. But yeah, our plants, they may slow down a little bit. They may get mad at us, but you know, we have to go out there and nurture them and keep them to growing, because I do have to set a date on my calendar to go and trim those annuals back, because I love to see them like flourish all the way up until our first frost. And those are ways to do it. Like, we have to, you know, kick them back into gear. So y'all have a safe weekend. I feel like I'm doing good. That's why I'm gonna get on like 30 minutes. We're doing good. But I just wanted to share with y'all those summer tips. We still have a busy weekend this weekend in the garden, and I always will. I always have something to do, and it's okay. I love being out there. It's just the mosquitoes, you know. And that spray didn't work that I was telling y'all about. Remember, I said I will never suggest anything unless I'm just happy with it, but the spray didn't work. But I still have my long sleeves on and a hat. Those are all part of keeping safe in the garden. So we're going to keep this replay up for y'all to go back and watch if you need it again. Again, like and share. Y'all be safe this weekend. And remember, every Monday at 12 noon and every Friday at 6 p.m. If you have any questions, anything you would like us to talk about, make sure that you either send me a DM, email me at anna@southernentertaining.com, and just let us know, because y'all know we'll always chat about it. I love it. I love it. Y'all are my family. Y'all are who I talk to. And yeah, because my family here, they're all gone. They're tired of me. They don't want to hear anything about a garden. But they have been enjoying the cucumbers. I'm telling y'all, they've been enjoying those, and they just taste so good. I did a dance the other night when I sliced it, because it just took me back to my childhood days. Like, I remember I used to go to the grocery store with my grandmother, and while all of the other grandkids was getting candy, I just wanted cucumbers, and I would eat it like it was a pickle and just put salt on there. But it wasn't a pickle, it was cucumbers. But I just thought I'd share that with y'all. But yes, thank you so much, Angela. Yeah, y'all be safe in the garden. Be safe, take breaks, hydrate. So we will see y'all again, if everything goes well, Monday at noon. Have a safe and a fun weekend in the garden. Thank y'all so much.